And welcome back, guys, to another episode of Katawa Shoujo. In the last part, we went out for our first run. We talked to Kenji in the bathroom again, naked. And now we are going to confront Misha and Shizune, who have just obviously bursted into the classroom as normal. Misha pops into the room with Shizune, as if on cue, shouting with a loudness that makes Lily visibly flinch.
Hi, Jan.
Hi.
Look, it's the class representative. Hello.
Lily smiles, probably amused by Misha's or Shizune's use of the word look.
Good morning. Of course, you're not the representative of this class, right?
I am not. Lily seems a little more guarded in her answers to Shizune than she was with me the other day. I guess they really don't get along at all. Then I realized that Lily might actually not know Shizune is present, and she's trying to detect whether or not she is, to know who she's talking to. For all she knows, she's talking to Misha, but knowing that she and Shizune are practically inseparable, she might expect Shizune being the one that actually talks. Damn, how complicated. I decided to help Lily out, for my own peace of mind more than anything else. You're here early, Shizune.
You were here even earlier than us.
Misha puffs out her cheeks angrily. Why is she getting angry? Does she feel emotions on Shizune's behalf too? It's not that weird, though, that Shizune didn't like my little comment. It's true, I was here earlier than them, so me saying something like that could definitely be misinterpreted as anything. Especially to Shizune, who doesn't have the benefit of hearing tone to gauge intent. Before I can start weighing whether or not I should apologize, Shizune has already moved on.
Class rep, it's a good thing you're here. We have to talk. The festival is coming up in 3 days, right? Every other class has already handed in their projected budget reports for their events. Even the first years, except for you.
There is still time to hand it in, isn't there?
Today. The deadline is today. You are certainly taking your time, aren't you? If I had my way, I'd have all the necessary paperwork days ago, but somehow, someone, had to say the deadline. Please extend it.
Yes, that was me. Planning something on this scale is not a small task, and a week is too small a time to expect a whole class to work out such a complex issue completely.
Do you want to know what's harder than distributing the funds for one class event? Handling the same matter for every class in the school and then some. The one who does that is me.
Whoops.
Who does that is me.
Doing voices and trying to read lines is always like one of the hardest things for me to do. Especially because it's like, obviously I'm not making it apparent, but it is Shizune talking through Misha. Misha isn't really talking in the same sense. Like, she's obviously deliberating and saying the words and translating, but it's actually Shizune that's talking. So you have to be like, Misha can't discern whether or not Shizune is being like cryptic and stuff like that. And I know that Misha also does make things bubbly, so I'm thinking of that while reading her lines. It's such a weird thing. Voice acting has always been like that. And I never really thought about it until much later on when I started my Abridged series, like how important voice acting is and how much of a talent it truly, truly is. Because you're able to express yourself naturally, you know, like in candid conversation like this, for example. But when you're trying to convey like raw emotions, like it's real, but you're not actually there acting it out, it's pretty difficult. All right, so Misha puts her hands on her hips and stands up straight. Wow, she's really getting into the role. Lily doesn't look like she's very amused, though. Hey, Shizune, aren't you being a little too hard on her? There's still a whole day left.
Please, Hisao, it's all right.
Lily seems happy I'm taking her side, but a bit conflicted that I might not think she can take care of herself.
If this is about the budget, then I'm disappointed you think that I have forgotten about it. I understand how important it is. Then, can I have it, please?
Shizune, she might not have it on her at this exact second. It's not here right now. I asked 2 students to take care of it for me. Students of my class. She emphasizes the last sentence, much to my surprise. She knows about Shizune and Misha's effort to rope me into the student council. I guess word must have gotten around, so now she's using me as ammo against Shizune. This just gets better and better.
It was your responsibility. A budget report isn't something that you should just delegate away. As class rep, it is your job to be on top of things. This kind of disregard for proper procedure is really just terrible.
They completed it, being capable of doing so, but the students have been sick recently, so they could not come to school and give it back to me. If you want, I will apologize on their behalf for getting sick.
Okay.
Although Misha misses Lily's little jab entirely, Shizune doesn't, and she seems torn between being offended by Lily's daring and jumping for joy at the prospect of a challenge.
Lily, don't they live here at the school? That's a 5-minute walk, you know. What could they possibly have that prevents them from taking 5 minutes out of their busy lives to drop off something that will affect the enjoyment of their entire class?
Lily opens her mouth to say something, but Shizune closes the gap between them and starts signing furiously, waving her hands around like her orchestra conductor. Misha tries her best to convey the same passion, but can't seem to lose her normal cheerful tone. The result is interesting and somewhat surreal.
And what's with that attitude? I said that it's not something you should be delegating away. Are you the class representative or aren't you? Tell me the name of those students. They should have your job if you can't even handle something this simple yourself.
One form isn't the full extent of what I'm supposed to take care of. Lily's tone is growing slightly impatient, but she's doing a good job of not letting Shizune see how unsettled she is becoming. She's playing her cards close to her chest. Shizune, on the other hand, wraps her finger cheerfully around the edges of her glasses, knowing Lily can neither hear nor see how excited she is.
Of course, you do so much, class rep. It must be so difficult being you.
Lily tightens her lips at Misha's words, clearly understanding the intent behind them, even though Misha's delivers them without even a hint of sarcasm, which they were meant to have. Shizune and Lily don't like each other, that much is clear, but this seems a little much. It seems like Lily has had enough, and is ready to push back. I was actually just discussing the budget report before you came by. You must be very talented to have finished all your student council duties so quickly that you can track me down to make sure I don't forget my own.
Are you accusing me of slacking off? It seems like you're confusing me with yourself.
I don't think so. That would be a very difficult thing for me to do, comparing myself to you.
You're right. The difference between us is like heaven and hell.
And it's not hard to guess which one you might represent. The air between them ripple with the heat of their enmity. Well, not really. They can't disguise it anymore, though. Even Misha looks like she's beginning to understand the real nature of this conversation.
Hee-chan, don't you slack off either.
What are you talking about?
Aren't you taking part in the festival, Hee-chan? You are, aren't you? Then I hope you're going to do a lot more to make sure it goes smoothly than this person.
I don't understand why Shizune is suddenly getting mad at me. Hey, yeah, so, like I said, I chose Don't Drag Me Into This, and I kind of pissed Lily off there. So we're actually going to side with Lily this time, and this is actually, now that I look back in retrospect, I probably would have sided with her, because A, they're kind of bringing me into this for no good reason, and, you know, she's trying to do her best. Like, Lily isn't avoiding work, she's just making sure that everything is perfect, which Shizune should know, right? So, hey, come on. Cut me and Lily some slack. Hey, I'm the new guy, remember? It's not like I could have done much, even if I wanted. That's right. You shouldn't expect a transfer student to jump right into it on his first week. Lily taking my side feels oddly comforting, so I decide to back her up, too. Yeah, you're being unreasonable with both us both.
Excuses, excuses. Miss Class Rep has plenty of time to deal with her report. And we repeatedly offered you a position to help with student council work, but you refused to commit yourself to make the festival a success.
Yeah, but as I said back then, I'm not sure if... I don't have time for this right now. No matter what I do, it will mean being drawn into a confrontation with Shizune, and that is what she wants. Whatever, forget it. I turn my back to them. Lily, class is going to be starting soon, so we can talk more later. I'll tell Hanako that you were looking for her. I can feel Shizune's freezing. Maybe this is the first time she has ever been ignored in such a blunt manner.
Thank you, Hisao. I'll leave you now then.
She gives me the sweetest smile I've seen all week and turns on her heels to make her exit. As soon as Lily walks out of the door, I suddenly start feeling reluctant about turning to face Shizune. I can feel her eyes burning into my back and can't bring myself to look at her. She must be furious. I keep expecting Misha to say something to alleviate the tension, but it really is wanting too much. In the end, I'll go back to my seat and listen to the sound of Shizune's footsteps as she marches out of the room. She doesn't return until a few minutes before class. Damn. I mean, that's pretty cold. Like, she's used to confrontations and challenges and stuff like that. So just, like, to be like, whatever, and then just sort of turn away and, like, completely disengage. Man, she must be seething. Hanako doesn't come to the morning classes at all, leaving her seat looking empty and lonely in the back of the classroom. I have to tell her that Lily was looking for her, if I see her later. After the events of this morning, class is pretty boring in comparison. I turn the pages of my textbook lazily. I have a bit of catching up to do, despite trying to keep up with my studies at the hospital. But I'm not feeling that enthusiastic about it. The clock at the front of the room sounds unbearably loud. The teacher hasn't said anything in over 7 minutes, instead opting to cover the board in rows and rows of equations taken directly from the book. The rhythmic clashing of chalk on blackboard seems to synchronize perfectly with the ticking of the clock. I start to copy down the equations just to pass the time, even though they are right there in the textbook. When the bell rings, I'm not in a hurry because I have nothing to do, so I stay for a while, reviewing what we covered in class today. I prefer to leave last anyway, so I don't have to deal with crowding in the hallways. I know Shizune and Misha have also stayed behind, talking to someone from another class. Shizune is sounding so fast that her hands make noises like swords cutting through the air. Maybe there is pent-up anger in there. Misha is trying desperately to keep up, but it's clear that she can barely manage to even understand her. I put my head down. Whatever they're discussing, it looks like serious business. Shizune signs to the point where her wrists crack, and Misha struggles to spit out in word form. Sometimes she trips over herself like she's dealing with tongue twisters, and then on top of that, she has to sign back anything the other girls say. Seems like a rough job. Misha looks tired, like she's about to faint. Luckily for her, their business is soon finished, and the girls sit down on their seats again.
I'm so tired.
She's hanging her head limply on her desk, looking exhausted. I'll use the opportunity to reconcile with Shizune a bit, without getting roped into the student council thing again, though I suspect that door is now closed for me. Festival preparations must be tough for you. Indeed, the people in this school seem to be taking the festival very seriously. Whether I see people idling around before and after class, they're always talking about their plans for it. It's kind of neat to see everyone being so enthusiastic about it. I'm probably the only one who doesn't have something to do. Yoshine scoffs at me first, as if trying to decide whether to ignore or sneer at me, but in the end she starts signing without doing either. Misha perks up, looking at her hands with slightly unfocused eyes. She signs with harsh, heavy, dramatic strokes. Misha translates her signing into speech for me. She does it so well, it's almost like Shizune is actually speaking, transmitting her thoughts directly through Misha. She must have practiced it vigorously.
Well, of course, we're the student council, you know, so we're pretty busy. It's an important duty of ours to ensure that the success of the festival with all our strength. We should shame ourselves in front of the past student council. We shouldn't shame ourselves in front of the past student council generations if the festivals were to fail. That's why there must be no flaws, I think that was encumbrances? No, nothing that might make the festival short of perfect. Suzune's passionate speech and Misha's enacting are really oddly fitting of them. Oh, hello. I look over my shoulder and see Hanako peering timidly into the classroom, most of her body hidden behind the door. Hey, playing delinquent again. Hanako blushes hard as Misha's straightforward jab, even if it was only in jest. Oh, feel really bad for her. Shunei stares at her probingly, causing Hanako to look down and start backing away to the point where only her fingers can be seen wrapped nervously around the edge of the door. Maybe she's showing her dislike for Hanako by association of her dislike of Lily. It appears so, and Hanako probably knows it as well. What is it, Hanako?
Has Lily been here?
Sorry, haven't seen Satao. She, came by in the morning, though. Hanako keeps looking uneasily at Shizune, who stares back at her with her usual studying gaze. What is she trying to do? Of course Shizune isn't going to look away, and she is intimidating enough as is, so I can only imagine how terrified Hanako would be. It's a little uncomfortable watching Hanako react to Shizune's normal behavior. This is what happens when two people of two different extremes meet, it seems.
Do you know where she is?
If she has any sense in her head, she's in her classroom, working on their festival project. But who knows where that woman is loitering at?
You need to find her? She was looking for you in the morning, but I guess you've missed her. You've missed each other. She waits a little without answering the simple question, looking awfully like she's not sure if it's proper to answer such a question. Aw.
Yeah.
I can come with you, if it's okay. Hanako nods fractionally, still on guard, her shoulders stiff like wood. I get the feeling that she might be more comfortable by herself after all, but it's too late to back off now. She has this really troubled expression she seems to wear almost constantly, one that makes me constantly be on guard myself. I wonder why. I kind of understand why she always seems to be so wary, or maybe more like why there could be a person like her. But I still have no idea how I should act around such a person. It's dinner time soon. Were you planning to eat with Lily? She nods slightly. So she must have been trying to get into the cafeteria. Well, there's something of a dinner crowd, just like the cafeteria is crowded during lunch. It's not as bad because dinner time is longer than lunch hour, but I can understand why Hanako could be discouraged from going in. I pick up my bag and we take our leave. Hanako skips a little to meet my initial pace, so I slow down to match her speed. Aw. That's really nice. He's just sort of like going with her. I mean, obviously, she's probably a little nervous, but she didn't reject our I don't want to say advance. It's not really an advance. It's just really, our friendly demeanor. There we go. Take a swig of water there. It doesn't take long for us to be walking at a comfortable pace down the hallway. Almost feels like we're going for a stroll together, something that I can't say I've really done before with a girl. Hanako doesn't seem to be thinking the same thing, though. Even though we are walking at the same pace, she never comes within arm's reach of me. I guess she's still a little uncomfortable around me. Given how shy she is, there doesn't seem to be much helping it, at least for now. By the time we arrive at the cafeteria, there's not much of a crowd there, but Lily is nowhere to be seen. Hanako's head sinks, even lower than usual. Have you looked somewhere else already?
Just at the library. I was reading.
So she does spend the class she skipped at the library. Ah, so not exactly a thorough search then. Well, if I had to guess, she'd probably be in her own class, like Shizune said, right?
Right.
With a slightness of nods, Hanako agrees with my reasoning. God, she's being so awkward. It's like I need double layered silk gloves with padding to even begin interacting with her. Some small talk might help her become a little bit more used to me. It isn't hard to tell that the silence between us is hovering on the edge of both of our minds. So you and Lily usually hang out together after class, right?
Yes.
I'm not quite sure what I was expecting from her answer, nor why I even asked the question. That much was rather obvious, after all. But I think we'll continue this little walk tomorrow, so take care, guys, stay frosty, and may the rest of the day be good to you.